stations off the floor. Gentleman from Iowa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield myself such time as I may consume. I'm proud to be here today to bring to the floor of the House of Representatives H.R. 985, the Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Act of 2007. A month ago today, this important bill passed the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform unanimously by a vote of 28-0. I strongly support the bill, and I hope it will receive a similar level of bipartisan support on the floor of the House of Representatives today. We need to send a strong message that protecting the rights of whistleblowers is not a Democratic issue. It's not a Republican issue. It's an issue that impacts the lives and safety of every American citizen. Whistleblowers have long been instrumental in alerting the public and Congress to wrongdoing in federal agencies. In many cases, the brave actions of whistleblowers have led to positive changes that have resulted in more responsible, safe, and ethical practices. In some instances, the actions of whistleblowers have even saved lives. Unfortunately, despite the importance of whistleblowers in ensuring government accountability and integrity, court decisions by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit have undermined whistleblower protections and have unreasonably limited the scope of disclosures protected under current law. The hearings that Chairman Waxman and Ranking Member Davis have been holding in the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform in the 110th Congress have highlighted the need for expanded protections for workers who shed light on wrongdoing by government agencies and departments. Several hearings held by the committee have helped uncover waste and fraud in government contracting, both here in the United States and in Iraq. Waste and fraud which has led to the loss of billions of taxpayer dollars and has jeopardized the safety of Americans here at home and those serving abroad. At another hearing, we learned that some officials in the Bush administration have sought to manipulate federal climate science, compromising the health and safety of American families and the future of the planet solely for political gain. Perhaps the starkest reminder of the need to protect those who refuse to remain silent in the face of government wrongdoing came at last week's hearing at Walter Reed, at which we learned about the terrible living conditions and bureaucratic hurdles that soldiers have endured there. At the hearing, it became clear that nobody dared to complain about the squalid living conditions and inadequate care at what is supposed to be the best military medical facility in the world because of fear of retribution. Because of this fear, it took an expose by a newspaper in order for action to be taken on these severe and systemic problems. And many of our nation's heroes had to suffer there for far too long. The Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Act of 2007 makes important changes to existing law that will strengthen protections for government workers who speak out against illegal, wasteful, and dangerous practices. The bill protects all federal whistleblowers by clarifying that any disclosure pertaining to waste, fraud, or abuse without restriction as to time, place, form, motive, context, or prior disclosure, and including both formal and informal communications, is protected. The bill also gives whistleblowers access to timely action on their claims, allowing them access to federal courts if the Merit Systems Protection Board does not take action on their claims within 180 days. In addition, the bill clarifies that national security workers, employees of government contractors, and those who blow the whistle on actions that compromise the integrity of federal science are all entitled to whistleblower protection. As we continue to fight terrorism and other national security threats, this landmark legislation will give whistleblower protections to national security whistleblowers for the first time. It may be hard to believe, but currently, employees at key government agencies in charge of protecting the United States, including the FBI, the CIA, and the Transportation Security Administration, are excluded from whistleblower protections. These are the employees who work every day to keep our country safe and secure. These workers deserve to have the same protection as other federal employees, and the American public deserves to know that workers who come forward with information that is essential to national security will not be punished for helping to keep us safe. A good example is former FBI agent Colleen Rowley, Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 2002. Special Agent Rowley graduated from Wartburg College in Waverly, Iowa, which is located in my district. Like me, she received her law degree from the University of Iowa College of Law. She is married and has 4 children. After the terrorist attacks on 9/11, Special Agent Braley wrote a paper for the director of the FBI which laid out in detail how personnel at FBI headquarters failed to take action on concerns raised by the Minneapolis field office concerning its investigation of suspected terrorist Zacarias Moussaoui. These failures, identified by Special Agent Braley, could have left the United States vulnerable to September 11th attacks in 2001. Special Agent Braley later testified before a Senate and the 9/11 Commission about these very same concerns. And following those hearings, Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley, a Republican who has been a proponent of whistleblower protection, pushed for a major reorganization at the FBI, resulting in the creation of the Office of Intelligence, which significantly expanded FBI personnel with counterterrorism and foreign language skills. Senator Grassley commended the actions of Braley, saying on the floor of the Senate last June, quote, "In typical FBI fashion, the missteps from 9/11 would have been swept under the rug if it weren't for whistleblowers like Colleen Braley. It looks to me like she is the only one who did anything to make sure the FBI was held responsible for its lack of responsiveness," end of quote. The Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Act also ensures that employees who work for companies that have government contracts are protected when they report waste, fraud, and abuse of taxpayer dollars. This provision is especially important considering the use of private contractors by the United States government has reached an all-time high, and that spending on federal contracts has almost doubled since 2000, reaching $400 billion in 2006. Private companies with government contracts are now performing some of the most important work of the government, including protecting civilian workers in Iraq and ensuring the safety of American citizens in the United States. This bill will help ensure that employees of government contractors who report on the abuse of taxpayer dollars or other wrongdoing do not have to fear the loss of their jobs or other retribution. Finally, Mr. Chairman, this bill clarifies that employees who blow the whistle on political interference in federal scientific research and reports are also entitled to whistleblower protections. It is essential that we have the best and most accurate scientific research and information that is possible. Americans trust that their tax money is funding thorough and adequate scientific studies that are free from political interference or manipulation. As lawmakers, we also depend on accurate and unbiased scientific information to make policy decisions that will impact the lives and futures of American families. Protecting government researchers who report actions or policies that compromise the accuracy and integrity of federal science is critical to ensuring that public and the lawmakers are able to make wise and informed decisions that affect our lives now and will have repercussions far into the future. I would like to thank Chairman Waxman and Ranking Member Davis for their work on this bill in the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. And again, I strongly urge my colleagues to support the passage of the Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Act today. And Mr. Chairman, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves his time. Gentleman from Virginia.